Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk. Let's talk. Conversations that cool. Kitchen talk. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk. Let's talk. Conversations that cool. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk. What you wanna talk about?
Hi. How are you?
Working on greater. How are you?
I am good. I
Yes,
will
ma'am.
not complain.
Yes, ma'am. What's going on?
Not much. Oh, look who it is. JT Plummer.
Yo, what's happening?
I
Good.
know, right? Listen, it is Kitchen Talk CTC.
Conversations that cook.
That is what they do.
What we
So
cooking? Greens,
say
grits.
that again.
What we cooking? Greens, grits,
Yeah.
eggs, bacon. What we cooking at the night?
Listen.
That's next month.
I was gonna try something different for tonight, right?
Mhm.
So usually we just have kind of the one topic and maybe one guest on that particular topic.
Right.
Tonight I was gonna try 2 topics and see how we do. So tonight's show was entitled Twice the Topic.
Okay.
So I was gonna do village check-in, and I wanted to revisit the Alzheimer's awareness since we weren't able to do it a couple of weeks ago. All right. So this is where we are, and this is why this platform works well for this, right? When we go like for real, like on television, I wonder if this is what they deal with when they guests kind of get, whatever. So, can you imagine doing a live show and your guests call you at last minute and say they can't come?
Wow.
Well, you know what? I was just watching a show, and that's what happened. But instead of the guests saying that they can't come, the guests just didn't show up.
Right.
So
That's
at
unprofessional.
least you got a heads up.
Yeah, heads up, but not enough of heads up to like rebook somebody else, right? So one of my guests, she has food poisoning. She thinks so. Don't look like
she
that.
got a lot of toilet paper.
I know, right? I feel so bad for her. She's such a sweetie. But she was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, this is not your fault.
It's not your fault.
It's not
Hope
your
you feel
fault.
better.
Right. So so it's like, okay, so now we kind of down to maybe the one topic, but then again, my other guest that is coming in for the one topic, I was like, oh, you could join a little late because we're gonna be 2 topics.
And she said she ain't coming out.
No, she's coming. She's gonna be running a little bit on, on the after 9 o'clock time. I was like, oh, that's fine, no problem. We got 2 topics. We'll do the other topic first, and then when you join in, we'll go to segment 2, that sort of thing. So
y'all ain't finna be.
Topic was the village check-in. And Kim Black was gonna she's gonna try to join us. So it's very interesting tonight. So it's us. Look, I got all 3 guys in tonight. I love it.
What's up?
So you guys,
There you go, Dr. Scott.
And
yes, sir.
Moist. So glad to see you guys. So I don't know if you guys got a chance to go back and look at the show from last week, but it was a very good show with Derek D. McGee Sr. And we were talking about France's favorite topic, which I'm so surprised that he missed.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
But it was a very good show. I think so.
Anytime you're talking about politics.
Yeah, so he got into it. You know me, I asked a whole bunch of questions, a whole lot. But Marvin, are you feeling better? I'm glad to see you.
Yes, I am. I'm getting where I'm getting where I need to be.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting where I need to be.
Good.
What's wrong, man? What happened?
Oh,
Man, you know, brother just tired, man. Body was like, look, either you slow down or
I'ma slow you down.
I'll slow you down.
Mm-hmm.
It will do it. You definitely gotta listen to your body.
Yeah,
big time.
Listen when it whispers.
You on retirement.
Man, listen, I tell people I left fam, but I still work, man.
Exactly.
I started my own business, so it's not like, you know.
Yeah,
free time.
That's working harder than being at somebody else's business.
Yeah. But you know, the thing is, you like working, you know, on a regular job because you want the security, right?
Right.
But the more security you have in a job, the less freedom you have.
Yeah.
I mean, so if you think about this, right, the most secure place is a prison. So when you think about like, okay, I want a job and I want this job for security purposes, then you understand that you have to be willing to give up some of your freedoms. Right. You know, so when you start your own business, you know, you have to ask the question, why am I doing this? You know, and initially when you start a business, you know, you have to understand that I don't have any security, but I have to give up a lot of freedoms because you have to continue to work to build it.
Yeah.
You know, I was telling someone the other day, there's a difference between being an entrepreneur and a hustler. You know, most of us, when we start a business, we hustling. You know, it's only when your business begin to grow where it can take care of itself and take care of you, where you stop hustling and you start running a business.
Yeah.
But hey, you ain't hear that from me because I ain't one to gossip.
So are you still hustling or are you an entrepreneur?
Right. Yeah. So like if you Rick Ross and every day you hustling, then you ain't reached entrepreneur status yet. And then the other thing is this: once you say, okay, I'm an entrepreneur, are you a business owner or are you self-employed? Because the worst person to work for is yourself.
You're talking to Dad, poor dad right now.
What? Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys got a chance to read that. Dr. Scott, I don't know if you read that, but
yeah, that's the old one. Yeah.
Yep.
What is it?
Rich Dad, Poor
Rich
Dad.
Dad, Poor Dad.
Oh, I have heard of that. I haven't read it, but I have heard of it.
Yeah. But
I actually I don't know if you guys got this, but I thought this might be a good book for us to read. It's called Atomic Habits.
Oh yeah.
By James Clear.
I already read it. Good
You
book.
read it?
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say something about Pimping Ain't Easy by Petey Green or something like that.
Petey Green.
I thought
Petey
you
Green.
wrote Pimpin' Ain't Easy. I thought that was your book.
No.
Yeah, when is that coming out, Doc? You said you had it on the shelf.
Right.
You're supposed to be, you know, ready for launch at this point.
Right. But this one might be good. I also ordered
Oh, it's Leslie. All I saw was the middle. I'm sorry. That's
what I'm saying. She was on Sherry Shepherd's show the other day talking about her book. It's her memoir.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure.
So now y'all y'all forgive me now. Y'all forgive me. But I'm trying to think, who's Leslie Jones?
She was on. She's a comedian.
Okay, I know you're talking about now. She tall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think she did Saturday Night Live.
Saturday Night Live.
She done Ghostbusters. She done some stuff with Chris Rock.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that was her name. I'll be honest with you, but
She about the color of this glove, but it's just.
Honestly, I thought that was her name.
Black is beautiful. I love it.
Sure if that's
even
you
more.
were talking about.
The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice.
She went in for Trevor Noah.
Yes.
It's hilarious. She's hilarious.
Yeah, she's funny. You got it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to find some time to start reading again. That's what I want to do. But so maybe this one, Atomic Habits.
Yeah,
for our next book club.
Okay. You know the author?
I don't.
George Clinton.
You mean his name, or do I know him personally?
I mean, did you know him? I mean, try to get the author on the show.
I am gonna try to get the author on the show.
Oh.
Yeah, but no, I don't know him.
Oh, okay, that's all. Him or her, my bad, player.
Yeah, no. I don't know him. It's another one too. This lady is a billionaire. Her name is Trisha Bailey.
She's single.
I don't know.
hey,
JT, slide. JT, that's when you slide into those DMs right there.
I don't know if she is or not. She was on Sherry's show the other day too.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask a question just to mess with Lisa. What are the odds you think that she is single?
Oh, that's a good question. Smart, successful, plenty of money. It depends. If she got married before she got the money, she probably good. But if she wasn't married before she got the money,
even if she was married before she got the money, it still is a strong possibility that she's not married.
Well, I mean, if we take a look at it, yes, it's probably a very strong possibility that she's not married. Black, successful, don't need anything in that way.
She need. Never mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about in this wasn't supposed to be this show, Marvin. I'm talking about.
Happens to you. Go ahead.
I'm talking about in the way that a man feels like he needs to provide.
Okay.
She does not necessarily have a need to be provided for.
But see,
does provision only comes with the money that the man brings home, or is there other forms of provision?
I mean, it probably is, but it just depends on the mindset of the man.
Yeah. Okay, so does it only depend on the mindset of the man, or does she have some part to play in there?
I'm not. See, Marvin,
I'm just asking questions. You brought it up.
So, I mean, it's a two-way street, of course, right? Yeah. But if I have a house, if I have money to pay my bills, and I'm doing okay as me living my life, right? Is he gonna be okay with me not needing him in that way?
Okay. So I'll throw this out there, right? So one of the things I used to ask my students when I was, Dr. Scott, Papa Scott, on campus, I'll ask the students, okay, you're dating this guy now, all well and good. He has this job and he's doing X, Y, and Z for you, and you are a broke college student right now. You're a poor college student, and he's providing these things. So the question is, okay, when you graduate, what conversations have you guys had to prepare yourselves for that moment? Where overnight now you may be making twice as much that he's making.
Mm-hmm.
One, can he handle that? And
Mm-hmm.
two, can you handle it?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it a place now where it's your money and you're this and you're that? Do you still, because see, a lot of times we think being a man is just based off of, and his act of provision is just based off of him paying the bills and so forth and so on. And
Right.
then when a woman says she can do that, she feels like she don't need a man.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And we saying the same thing.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. So it's coming back to that place of, then a lot of times we look at women define a man's role in multiple ways, and when they get to the place where they can provide and financially they don't need a man and so forth and so on, right? Then in their mind, that's what they start. A lot of times they feel like, okay, well, I don't need a man because that's the role that I have pigeonholed him in. Is to do this, and this. And
Sure.
I don't need a man who's gonna, try to be head and tell me what to do. And I work hard and I make my own money.
Sure.
So again,
it's a two-way. Again, it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So
anyway. I mean, it depends on, what she can handle, what he can handle, or if she can, or at this point, is she worried about somebody using her?
Well, but again, the thing is this: men deal with that all the time, but it's still a different. Men know that some women are with them and marry them because of their money.
Sure,
that happens all the time.
Sure.
So if it's on the other foot, now is that you know what I mean? What's different?
But I've seen some strange things too to me, where a man will want a woman that's not a gold digger, but then also once he gets her, he doesn't necessarily want her to do anything but stay at home and be dependent on him.
Well, yeah, but
so why not just get the gold digger? That's her aspiration.
Yeah,
versus taking someone who has ambition and wants to do things, but you don't want her to do that. You don't want her to grow in that way.
Yeah, I think,
even though she was on that track, I've seen that.
Yeah, no, I know, but at the same time, I think we need to look in, and so it's hard. It's a difficult conversation because sometimes we start talking about extremes and not norms.
Sure.
You know what I mean? What you got up, JT? Congratulations on your new business.
Okay.
You got a new business?
Oh no, that was from when I started everything else. I just still got to have stuff sitting on the on my table.
No, JT was saying change the subject.
Boy, it's finna get hot. It's finna get hot.
Not at all.
Hey, I saw Lisa turn red.
You looking at them chairs behind me? I'm good.
Y'all remember them cartoons when people get mad and the smoke start coming out of their heads?
Listen, trust me, I am good. Good. Not mad
I know,
at all.
But you both were saying pretty much the same thing in terms of your viewpoints. But the dynamics of relationships are changing, right? So
sure,
I got both sides, and I'm like, yeah, you're making some valid points.
Yeah. It's the thing of men. We look at men in relationships in one way, and then women look at each other and look to evolve. And so women evolve, and we look at men to evolve. But what role do you want the man to evolve to? You follow what I'm saying? Because
I think that depends. I don't know if can you generalize it like that.
What do you mean generalize what aspect?
I think all of us evolve, men and women.
Yeah, but I think it goes back to what Francis was saying in the sense that women that dynamic is changing. Women are the fastest growing group of small business owners. They are one of the fastest group that arrives into the place of wealth. You know what I mean. So there is a difference there. That group is there as one of the, especially black women, is one of the most educated groups there are. So where women are going to school more, men are going to school less in some sense, or whatever, so that dynamics is changing, and so you have, there's just different questions, that you have to look at and deal with when you start dealing with this thing called relationship, dealing with men and women,
It's definitely multifaceted. I mean, it's no way to really put, like, here's
catch all
one boat. Yeah, you just
right.
Just can't lump everybody together.
Right. You can't, but what happens is this, though. There are certain things that are not uncommon.
Okay.
And that happens in most relationships and in most marriages. At some point, if people be real, at some point in time in your relationship, in your marriage, you're going to hit this point, right? And so there are certain things that we can classify as the norm, that more than likely at some point, yeah, you've been there. Now we're all the same, but we're all different. You know what I mean? From the standpoint that I say this: we are the sum total of our parents. We are a mixture of their personalities, our grandparents' person. It's amazing how you can see your grandparent in your child and be like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
But at the same time, then we take that and then it's the mixture. Okay, now it's the environment that you put that personality in, and which side of the personality, what side does it gravitate to? So, you have all those things that then make us who we are, right? As far as how we respond, how we think, they always say, don't tell a child how to think, teach them how to think, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is you're telling them how to think by what you do, because they develop their initial thoughts, what they like, dislike, based off of your thoughts, your likes and dislikes. And then you put them in that environment. And so, so we're different because of our environment. But there's certain things, if I find someone in the same environment, I can find both sides of that coin that look just like you. So we can start talking about certain things that are common. It's not everybody, but these are common things that a man will face. These are common things that a woman would face. You know what I mean? So, and I think if we be real with it, you know how they always talk about men have a midlife crisis. Well, that's not just men. Women face these things too. It's just that now they're in a position where they can be more open about it and more, and talk about it. Because a lot of times you feel like you might be the only one.
Only one.
And you're not. This thing is more common than you think.
Sure.
And so how to navigate a relationship when you're at that level of wealth, a lot of people don't know and understand because they haven't really seen it. And again, the predefined roles of how it's supposed to be. And again, most time, if you're a strong woman, you still want a strong man, right? But a strong man don't necessarily want
a strong woman.
So you have to, so you have to be able to navigate those different things, understanding that you might be this way in the boardroom, but when you come home, you might be, yes, I do the cooking. Yes.
Well, I think it's not even just, it's understanding the roles that each of them are going to play.
Right.
And be willing to accept those roles, whatever those roles may be, whatever they decide it is. When you have two strong individuals, it's who's going to say, okay, you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with you doing X, and I'm okay with you doing Y. That compromise.
Yeah.
But
not subscribing to roles at all. We just a partnership.
But even that is a role. There's a definition into this, and it's again both parties communicating and making it clear, what it is and what they expect from each other. I think the hardest part of that is what you were saying earlier, Dr. Scott. Most people don't take the hat off, right? So there's an old proverb: when you come home, you leave your tools at the door. Well, really, not even at the door. You leave them outside on the tree. You don't even bring it to the door. You leave it on the tree. Then you come in. But most people have a hard time leaving that hat on the tree. They bring it into the house, and then of course, because of the role I played at work, I now play the same role at home.
Right.
It's hard to kind of shed that off and say, okay, yes, here I am this type of person. I'm nurturing, I'm helping, I'm blah. But when I'm at work, I may need to be a little bit more aggressive. I may need to be a little bit more to the point, right? I may need to be a little bit more I need another word. I need to be more stern or more, specific. At home, that may not be what you need to be. That's not going to help. So it's again, how will both parties define the role, and then are they okay with whatever that role is?
And I would say this too a lot. See, well, one thing we talk about is the fact that you say communicating those roles. Well, a lot of times it's not communicated. We don't talk about it until it's a big issue, you know, where someone's ready to blow up. So that's first thing. And the other thing I realized too, that our roles get defined. Like, for example, when you have kids, they help to define roles, and you may not realize it. But like, for example, when our kids were young, they would come to me for certain things and then go to Leslie for other things. And so the boys could be home with me, and we're sitting down, we're talking or whatever. And then when mom come home, they'll say, "Oh, I'm hungry." And she like, "Y'all be here all day." And I'm like, "They ain't saying nothing to me."
Because that's the role that they see her as, right? She didn't say it, she didn't define it, but that's the role that she. Now, if it was, hey, who's taking us to the football game? I know you're a coach, so I'm just using this as an example. They're not going to mom for that, because they know coach is gonna wake up and take them to practice, take them to the game, wherever it may be.
So Marvin, let me ask you this. What made it so you didn't even ask them if they were hungry?
What made it? Because at that point, hey, I teach them to communicate. The same way that when she got home, she didn't ask them were they hungry. They said, "We hungry." So my thing is when we get to the house, because first thing I do, when I pick them up from school, I'm gonna make sure they got something to eat. That's the first thing. So then when it's later on and she's still at work, we're doing whatever, get their homework done. We're laughing.
Okay.
I'm the disciplinarian, but I'm the fun guy. And so they're not gonna give up time having fun to say they're hungry.
Yeah.
But when that person comes home, that's who they look for. There's just certain things, like Fran said, there's certain things that they're going to ask me for that they won't even go to her, and there were certain things that they'll ask her for and won't look at me.
And
but
I'm gonna bring
with
another
extra
one
bit
in.
of information, it makes sense for you not to check on whether they hungry or not.
I'm gonna ask you this question.
I'm thinking, did you just let them have them the whole afternoon, ain't give them no snack or nothing?
Listen,
y'all better go in and take y'all a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
First thing, woman of God. First thing, I listen. I know how to take care of my kids.
Doc, let me ask you this question.
They gotta wait
Dr.
till mama get home to get something to eat.
If they, let's just say somebody,
I know how to go to the refrigerator.
They weren't feeling well. Who did they come to? Did they come to you, or did they go to the mom?
That was a mix.
Okay.
Because that's one thing. As a father, was important for me. If one, I'm going to take care of my babes, and two, because of Leslie's schedule, I would do my best to allow her to get some rest.
Yeah.
Because her days were longer than my days. I would do my best to make sure she gets some rest. So, I mean, even when they were, still in diapers, a lot of times I would get up in the night and feed them so that she didn't have to get up. And so,
I would give you that too, Doc, because as long as we've known each other, let me tell you, man, Dr. Scott would come and pick up these kids from daycare. I said, look at that, man.
Yeah.
He was a part, always black man, picking up.
If I can say this, if I'm not great at anything else, my whole desire was being a great father. Yeah. That's and so that's one thing that I love. I love being a father. I love my boys. I love being able to watch them grow up. You know what I mean? So I have so many memories.
JT. Lauray,
what's up?
Even though that was supposed to be our first topic, we can transition to our second topic. Now that our guest is here, this is Larae C. Social worker. So she is joining us to talk about Alzheimer's awareness. So welcome, Ms. Larae. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the invite. How's everybody doing?
Yes.
All right,
we're good. We're good. How are you?
By his eyes.
Wonderful. So I heard something new. Instead of saying crying or you have allergies, a friend of mine said that her eyes are raining.
Oh.
I thought that was very unique.
Yeah, mine tend to do that from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mine was just doing that.
Mine leak. They leak. I don't know. They leak. So I have to find out how to fix the leak. But yeah, mine.
Do you have to fix the leak?
I know, right?
You can't stop the rain. And some people say, "Can you stand the rain?" JT, that's on you.
Well, it is, and you can't stop the rain too.
Can't stop the rain. Yep.
Oh Lord, you done got both of them. Marvin and JT.
Listen.
Oh Lord.
Tell me, can you weather the storm?
Now, let me tell you, I just want to know, will you be able to remember that song if you have Alzheimer's?
Yes.
Yeah. That never goes away.
Hey, LaShonda. She said her sweat.
That's a good one.
Yes. So listen, we a few weeks ago, last month was Alzheimer's Awareness Month, and we were going to have this show, but we had some technical difficulties that I told y'all about after my trip. I come home and the house is just out of whack, like no internet. So I asked Miss Lauray if she could come back this week, and we were gonna try to do our twice the topic night. So we did end up with a topic that Marvin tried to get me on one, but I'm not. I'm still good. You will not row me tonight. I'm gonna be all right.
She's gonna be all right.
I saw him in Jacksonville. We gonna be all right.
All right.
Be all right.
I'm gonna be all right. I don't care what you try. I'm good. So tonight we want to dig into a little bit of this conversation. I think that again, our goal with Kitchen Talk is just to spark different conversations that I think are important and need to be had. So if we can get people to talking about the things that are going on, about some of the stuff that is still going on that we don't necessarily talk about anymore. So I don't think we've ever talked about Alzheimer's. Is it still called disease, or is it just an Alzheimer condition? And then the other question I have too, is it different from dementia? So
it is.
Also want to give this disclaimer because Miss Lauray says that she is not the perfect expert, but she does have some expertise and experience. So
got more than me.
That out there as well. And Marvin said, I don't know.
Pharmacists, you should know. Thank you, sir.
Well,
You should
well,
know.
listen. My thing is this. Okay, yes, I do know certain things. I know treatment X, Y, and Z. But she asked me, could I listen? I'm not going to claim to be an expert on this subject. Yeah. So
So first, right. So first, Miss Lauray, would you be able to just kind of define it for us?
Okay, so I want to go back before I answer that. What I want to do is go back to the question about would someone with Alzheimer's remember a song? Yes. Music is a different part of the brain. And so Alzheimer's traditionally, everybody is different. Everybody process, that type of disease process differently. But music is always a good source of calming down a patient or your loved one that has symptoms of Alzheimer's. A lot of times they can be agitated by anything. And so music is always used for soothing, and music is the one thing that they will remember. Um, to define Alzheimer's, so I did not do all of the research as far as giving you the technical definition, but there are different types of Alzheimer's. So dementia is one type of Alzheimer's.
Right.
Individuals that has Parkinson's disease can also have a type of dementia or Alzheimer's. People that have had strokes can have a type of dementia or Alzheimer's. So Alzheimer's is probably the broadest topic, and it just depends on whatever other disease processes a person has. It may mimic or show the type of dementia and Alzheimer's. So dementia can be in stages as well, and those stages can be early, late onset, end stage dementia, and then Parkinson's. It comes and goes if you have Parkinson's, as far as the understanding and the memory, which is what usually shows up as far as Alzheimer's and dementia. So I do want to say this: Tallahassee does have a great resource that individuals are able to use, and that's the Alzheimer's Project. And so that information is on the on their website, where you can reach out to them, get information. I'm sure they are very open to having discussions about it, doing community events, and all of those things.
Very cool. Very cool. Um, do you know if there is a way to test to see if you are prone to it or prone to having it? Like, I don't even know how to say. Do you catch it?
Predisposed.
Have it? Do you catch it? Do
family
you
family
like?
You don't
history.
catch it. It's family, right? It's family
Okay,
history. And so it's almost like anything. When you go to the doctor, they're gonna always ask you any conditions that your family members have had. And so studies have shown that if you've had, some parents or, grandparents that have had Alzheimer's, that it's a possibility for you to have it. So of course there are some studies that show the link between lifestyle, healthy lifestyle in some ways can contribute to it, but I'm not versed enough to tell you like what those are.
sure.
But there are some tests that they can tell if a person starts to have memory issues. So there are some preliminary tests that they can use in order to determine if they feel like this person is headed to Alzheimer's or dementia.
Yeah, and one of the things I would say too is if a person can remember that they don't remember, then they're good. Most times, individuals that are developing Alzheimer's, a lot they don't realize that they're forgetting until it starts to progress. They get to a place where now it's an obvious problem not just to them, to everybody around them, but it's an obvious problem to them as well.
And sometimes, and that's true too. And the other part to that is, in my experience, they know something is wrong. They just don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so hard for them to articulate what it is. And so family members get frustrated because they don't know that sometimes you don't constantly remind somebody that they've said something 50 million times.
Mm-hmm.
That makes them irritated and frustrated because they don't remember that they said it multiple times. And so then they get agitated and mad because you're on the outside, they're on the inside. They don't know what's going on, but you constantly reminding them that they said it, and that's not comfortable for them because, again, they know something is wrong. They just don't know what it is, and they don't know how to stop it.
Right.
Okay. So there has been in the last maybe 6 or 7 years another topic that came up through athleticism, and a lot of football players.
Yep.
Some soccer players with the brain trauma called CTE.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that is a possibility? There's a possibility that that is a certain form, or that may affect people as a form of Alzheimer's?
I don't know. I've never heard of that.
Yeah. Well, I think that would be more on the lines of, going into dementia. Looking at
because of the brain trauma.
Because of the brain trauma. And then how with Alzheimer's, it's more marked in the early stages by the level of forgetfulness. And one of the things we talk about with Alzheimer's is normally what's learned last is forgot first. So there's certain things that they'll go back to their childhood and they could remember like it was yesterday. Yep. But certain conversations that they've had with you within the past few minutes, they don't remember that they've had that conversation.
Right.
And so, Alzheimer's is I think about Alzheimer's in the sense of it's tough. Disease is tough on both the individual and the family, but Alzheimer's is one of those diseases that's it's very tough because you get to slowly watch your loved one
just
just pass away, not just physically pass away, but mentally. There you can see them slowly begin to lead to the point where they're still alive, but they're not. They're not alive. They're not themselves.
I think people call that the long goodbye. I've heard it, heard it called sometimes. Yeah.
Right. And then sometimes one of the clients that I used to work with, the family members said they had to teach themselves that the person that their loved one is not the person they do. So they enter their space as a brand new person, somebody they're getting to know, because that individual is not the person that they used to be. And so that helped provide comfort and some processing and a way to support the individual, because when we know our family members, we're closer to them, we can talk about various things. But when you walk into a place and this person don't even know who you are, then you got to find another way to interact and engage and not be frustrated, because the other thing about Alzheimer's patients, they pick up on your energy. And so if you're agitated or frustrated or sad or whatever, they recognize it. They may not be able to verbalize it, but they pick up on what you bring into the room.
So now the I guess the research and the treatment has come a long way thus far. Where are we currently with treatments and I don't want to just say medication, but where are we currently in terms of helping people to overcome the I don't even know if we still calling it a disease, at least to act
still a disease.
Okay, so how do we overcome the disease?
So honestly, I don't think we're gonna overcome the disease. It's a lot more research that needs to be done. Of course, medication is one that is easily tried, but the challenge is everybody don't respond to that type of treatment the same way. So it's even more difficult to get, enough research to say, hey, this particular one is going to do this, because everybody's body makeup is different. And so a lot of times it's a cocktail. They'll try a particular drug, and then they may have to give a family member something for anxiety or for something else. Like, it's not just gonna be one quick fix medication to make it work.
Yeah, and so there's nothing really out there that's going to say, "Oh, we this will keep your blood pressure down." This will keep Alzheimer's at bay. If you take this, it's still it slows it may slow the process, but it does not stop the process.
Stop it. That's right.
It's still just a slow process. And so a lot of times they're giving things to help with the just help deal with some of the extenuating things like the agitation and those different things that may arise. But it's nothing there. Just like they said, it's just devastating. And like Lauray was saying, Alzheimer's is one of those diseases where it's just as important for the family member to get counseling and support.
Yeah.
Because their life changes as the disease begins to progress.
Yeah, I had a fraternity brother that was actually looking at that particular research. I think that's what his dissertation was about. I don't want to go too deep, but he was looking at not just the patient who is getting the treatment, but the family members, how they had to, provide that extra support, how they needed, support themselves to assist the family member who was in need at the time. So whether it's Alzheimer's, whether it's cancer, whatever it may be, the family member who is providing assistance to that person is also in need of assistance.
Yeah.
Well, definitely the caregiver.
Right. That has increased tremendously. People are now really recognizing the need for respite, where the caregiver can go off for the weekend and some agency come in and support the family member, and the support groups that are available. Before, you just basically did it on your own. Now, if you had some family members that can trade out and switch out with you, that was good. But if you didn't back in the day, I would say 5-10 years ago, you just suffer. And unfortunately, a lot of times the caregiver passed away before the person with the Alzheimer's or dementia, because they themselves out. And dementia is not what ultimately has a person that causes a person to die. It's other symptoms like aspiration or pneumonia or things that have affected the body because certain disease processes have been affected. And so that has caused the client or the family member to have other symptoms. At some point, the loved one stops eating. They just choose not to eat. They're not hungry. They don't want it. And so you can't force them to eat. You force them to eat, they'll aspirate, they'll get pneumonia. So it's like you have to really, really be careful about just the symptoms. Some of them get UTIs and cause pneumonia. A lot of things cause adverse reaction to what's going on with them when they start to change and don't want to, live what we would say is a healthy life.
Yeah. And how do you treat the person that raised you like they're your child?
Right.
How do you tell the person that's used to driving you everywhere that they can't drive, and they're looking at you every day trying to get their keys and trying to I could remember my great uncle cousin Curtis. I miss that dude. Anyway, he used to always try to leave the house, and we used to Uncle Curtis, no, you can't. And so one day he got out the house, and this is when he realized he had a problem. He couldn't remember how to get back home.
Yep.
And so finally he asked the guy, he was like, "Hey, you know me?" And the dude looked at him and laughed, said, "Uncle Curtis, yeah, I know you." He was like, "You know where I stay at?" He was like, "Yeah." And he brought him home. And
Wow.
from that point, then he realized, okay, I got it. But then that was the slow process
Right.
of watching the man who helped take care of me when I was little, you know, become a shell of himself to ultimately pass away. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that's the other thing with Alzheimer's, and the reason why a lot of caregivers don't get rest, because they have to be on guard. Yeah, they might go to bed, but they can't,
24/7.
because that person, if they're a wanderer, they'll get out the house in the middle of the night. They waiting for you to go to sleep. So
Yeah.
that, and they can be aggressive. There are people who are so sweet, you would never think they would cuss, they wouldn't fight, but you have them where their mind and what they're dealing with causes them to be aggressive. And so some family members have put their loved ones in nursing homes because they can't handle them fighting against them and biting them and refusing care and things of that nature. So caregivers go through a whole lot in really trying to care for their loved ones, especially at home. Many times people don't want their loved ones to leave home because that's what's familiar to them. But at the end of the day, if you're a caregiver 24 hours a day, you're not going to make it.
Yeah. And that's why, Lisa, I think shows like this are important, not just to talk about the disease, but talk about, like in this situation with this disease, talk about the help that the individual, family members, talk about the help that they need. Because it's like, think about this: you raise your children, and your children are grown and out the house, and now you have another child that is hard for you to tell them, because they in their mind, hey, look, I'm still here. You don't tell me, I tell you. It's hard on the family. And so I think this is just important to talk about and bring awareness to the level of help that the family members need, as much as it is to talk about the disease state, because family members, the caretakers, need a lot of help. And and it's sad when family members, they have sisters and brothers and other people out there who could pitch in and help,
And
but they
don't.
won't. But they won't. And to get the extra care that you need, that's expensive. There's no one giving you money just to so you can have someone to stay in the house.
But at the same time, I don't want us to be like, oh, they terrible people, they won't help. Sometimes you just don't know what to do.
But sometimes,
and so and I'm not saying, I guess I'm kind of looking at it from, a couple of different sides. Is you may be nervous about, some of the things you just said, the aggressiveness, the this, the that, the, trying to keep them inside. I'm not saying that there aren't selfish people out there that just won't help. But sometimes you may want to help, but you got to help in another way. How can I help? How can I support in another way? Because to tell you the truth, I'm not good with sick and needs and things like that. But if I could support the caregiver in some way, then that might be something that I would try to do.
And that's the question is, how can you help? So yes, you, the physical person that wants to do the bathing or the feeding or anything like that, but you could go do the grocery shopping. You can clean the house, you can make the bed, you can wash the dishes. That's the thing, is everybody has a different place in this whole process. And the part you're comfortable doing, do those, because it still helps that person. If you deliver meals every day, that still helps the caregiver. The caregiver if the loved one is able to feed themselves, you can sit there while they're feeding themselves. The caregiver can go take a nap. If you can stay for 2 hours And you know, it could be anything. It's the individuals who don't offer to do anything.
Yeah,
That's
I
when the
think that's it.
challenges comes in, because the caregiver, as Marvin said, it's expensive. All of those things cost money, and it's an hourly rate. And so when you look at private caregiving, they go from a companion, which is somebody who will just sit. They're not going to lift. They're not going to take the person to the restroom. They'll watch them be fed, but they have to feed themselves. And it goes up from there to a registered nurse, how much ever they get charged an hour. So there's levels of care, but they all cost a lot of money. And the other thing I do want to mention, two things, because I know it's almost time, but two things. One, individuals who have or who bought into healthcare insurance, please read the fine print. That insurance is not going to cover everything you think you want it to cover. So you have to be specific on whether at some point you want to go to a nursing home or assisted living. Usually 9 times out of 10, assisted living does not take insurance. They're private pay. So you have to be careful when you buy into the insurance of long-term care. Know exactly what you're paying for, because you're going to get there and say, hey, I've been paying all these years and it doesn't cover what you need for it to cover. The other thing is there's an agency, and Lisa, I'll give you the information. I forgot to research it before I came on. But now there's a group of people who are now providing care or resources for churches for individuals that want to bring their loved ones to church and feel isolated, that the person might have an outburst or something like that. So there's a group of people who are partnering with churches to allow and help churches embrace family members and caregivers with Alzheimer's. That's one of the things that has caused a lot of I would say distress and sadness, because if you have a person or a family who were very involved in the church and all of a sudden now they can't even go to church because they're nervous about their loved one responding to stimuli or whatever the case may be. Now churches are getting that training to support family members and caregivers if they want to come back to church.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah,
beautiful.
that's awesome. Yeah.
That's beautiful for real. Here's a question too. If you know that it does run in your family, so it becomes hereditary, is what I'm hearing, or it is hereditary. Are there efforts to prevent or um, maybe prolong it from attack? I don't want to say attacking. I want,
Talking about delay onset.
yeah. Like I've heard through the years. So I started doing Sudoku, crossword puzzles, things that stimulate the brain, different things like that. And I've heard
She's
tell,
also playing
we were
chess.
researching about Alzheimer's and stuff like that. They were saying things that help stimulate the brain will help delay maybe the onset, like you said, the onset of Alzheimer's. Is that real? I mean, are there things out there like that? Are there things that if I know it's in my family that I maybe can be doing now to help prolong me from moving into an Alzheimer's state?
I would say make sure you have a good relationship with your medical primary caregiver. I mean, I'm sorry, primary physician. So that, of course, they have your history, but your communication with them ongoing will help you know what to do next. So I can't specifically answer your question, but I feel like your primary physician should be able to give you more details on what you need to be doing. Some of it has to do with diet, some of it has to do with exercise, healthy living, things of that nature. and what we feed our brain. You know, the food still affects our brain as well. So I would say that, Dr. Scott.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so basically, we still don't know like what causes early onset Alzheimer's. We you know, and so like she was saying, the thing is really more so, you know, taking care of yourself, getting good sleep, which, hey, you know, Lord help us on that one. Getting good sleep, eating appropriately, those types of things. There are different things out there that claim to help the brain function, like Prevagen and those things like that. But at the end of the day, nobody really, you know what I mean? You got to have the research and the longevity of it to actually see if those are real clinical results that'll come out of those things. And so really just, taking care of yourself, eating right, getting good sleep, getting good rest, those types of things. And that's why we pray.
Right. Absolutely.
You just got to pray just to make it today.
Yeah. But then some people say if you put on the hammer, you'll be rewarded.
If you put on the what?
The hammer.
Put on the hammer.
My beat is
You'll
ever
be
booming.
rewarded. Yeah.
And I get it started.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, God. Lisa's like, what are you talking about?
me and Dr. Scott. Me and Dr. Scott.
I picked it up when
listen,
I picked it up when Jason said, oh.
This is what I have to deal with.
Listen. This is the thing, right, Lauray? This subject makes my eyes want to sweat, leak, rain. So at some point we got to change it.
Yeah,
we got to get happy again, man.
It does definitely.
Yeah. But you know what? It's something that should be talked about.
It has to be talked about.
Forefront. And then again, I say this on so many topics when we talk about health, in terms of us understanding and start putting the money towards understanding how it affects the Black diaspora. Let's put it that way. Doing the research to say, hey, what can we do to start finding cures, finding ways to deal with situations like this? I don't know. I think we need to do a better job. That's all. I can't
Francis,
even.
this is the thing, right? You are, what you're saying makes sense, but just always remember this, right? The money's in the treatment.
Correct.
Not in the cure.
Right.
And when you look on the at the stock market, some of the biggest traded companies are pharmaceutical companies.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to understand that there is a money money involved in this thing, and so it's that's just the nature of the beast. You know what I mean? So we have to be, at the end of the day, be able to do better about ourselves, in the sense of what is taking care of ourselves. What does that really look like? What does eating right? What does that look like? You know what I mean? Do I have to give up X, Y, and Z just to do I have to give up bacon just so I can say I'm eating right?
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, so I'm just saying. So I think those are things that we need to educate each other on. That I think educating our communities, creating more things, because Alzheimer's is something that does affect the Black community. And creating things in community centers for family members to caregivers to bring their loved ones and be able to sit down and for them to, while they're here, you can relax.
Sure.
Listen, we're going to do this and you go have a spa day. But again, it goes back to how can we help? Because Lisa, the thing is this, is just do something. Don't say I want to help, but don't help.
Right, absolutely.
And don't say anything, don't offer. If you have a hard time sitting there with them and that's not your thing, then at least offering some other ways. Hey, look, I know I'm not doing this, but I can do this. I'll go get the groceries for you.
Sure.
You don't have to try to, again, let me take some of that pressure off of you so that there will be some level of relief. You're doing this, let me do that.
Yeah.
I think it's two. One is the person not being afraid to say, hey, I can help you. And the other person who's providing the service say, hey, I need your help. Right? Because most people who are probably the caregiver are like, I got it, I can do it. And they keep going and going without stopping to say, hey, you know what? I need support. Yeah. I think again, both sides should be willing to say, hey.
I think too, there's definitely a conversation that can be had. So I'm thinking that I would want to say, when I get, or if this happens to me,
we're not speaking that.
Can I say true? But I will say, find a facility. It may be hard for you to say, I don't want to put my loved one in a facility. But at the same time, because I know what caregivers go through, I don't want you to go through that.
But Lisa, that goes back to what Larae said before, though. Finding a facility is one thing. The other thing, and now, is how do you pay for it?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true.
I think that's another show we should really dive into, and a conversation
how do you pay for
it? On the will, the living will.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Before all of this happens, what do you want?
Yeah.
What do you want this to be? What do you want? How do you want me to move forward? When everything is said and done, it's on paper. While I have all my wits about me,
right.
Let me go ahead and say, hey, this is what I want to happen. I think sometimes we're afraid of the the future. We're afraid of the future. We're afraid of what's going to happen. We're afraid of talking about death and talking about the next step. So,
but that goes back to what LaShonda just posted. I mean, again, that sounds good, right? But we gotta have the money
to finance
to finance that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So with that being said, if those are our wishes, that okay, I'm putting this in the will, that okay, put me in a facility, then while we're doing that, we need to come up with a way on how we're going to do that. How we're going to fund that, because somebody's going to have to pay. And like Lauray was saying, that a lot of these places don't take insurance.
And I think that's part of the conversation, right? Sure. That's part of the conversation of, okay, if you want me to do this, then where's that going to come from? And that individual may have dollars set aside just for that, right? So I think, again, it's these, we should have another show just on, the wills and the different types of wills and what happens.
Life insurance,
another good one. So
so
it's another good show.
To the life insurance and the will, there is a document called 5 Wishes. And 5 Wishes is a detailed document all the way to, I went to the hospital, I was perfectly fine, I went to the hospital, now I can't speak for myself. It allows you, that person, to go step by step. Do you want life-saving measures? Do you want a feeding tube? All of those processes need to be discussed. And it's a free document. It's online. You print it out. You sit down with your family, and everybody needs to fill it out. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can be a car accident, something changes, and you can't speak for yourself. Does your family member know what you want? So it needs to start with, what health parameters, wishes, desires do you want? Do you want a blood transfusion? Do you know how many people go to the hospital after something has happened and they say, I have no idea what they would want? That's even tragic. Worse than Because if a person tell you what they want, regardless of how you feel, you got to honor their wishes.
Honor what they want.
Okay, so just so y'all know, listen, remind my family if I want 2 glasses of Kool-Aid, a Mountain Dew,
some Chips Ahoy cookies.
no Chips Ahoy, but a Snickers with
Oreo.
A Snickers with bacon wrapped around it, so I can double my pleasure.
No, I don't know about the bacon, but I'm with you with the Snickers.
Yeah,
Gotta have some bacon.
Yeah, because that's the sweet and savory.
Yeah.
So y'all remember that. 2 glasses of Kool-Aid. Now look.
Wait, what kind of Kool-Aid? Red or grape?
It's red, right? It ain't no cherry.
Right. Red or grape. Red or grape. Yeah, ain't no cherry.
I don't even remember grape. I remember purple. But hey, you know,
we didn't call it purple. It was grape. It was red or grape.
Red or grape.
Y'all too.
Lasanda said she wants some wine before bed.
But you know, I think this is something that I definitely have to do because I plan to live till I'm 120. So y'all gonna need to know something.
Not today, not tomorrow.
That's how long I plan to be here. So I got another few years to go. But thank you, Miss Lauray, for joining us and having starting this discussion with us, because we definitely will continue we'll keep this like we keep the voting, like we keep a couple of other conversations that we have. This is definitely one of them, and caregiving and different types of diseases that might not affect us physically right off, but they do, weigh on you in ways that we just don't think about. You just thought mom and them just forgot because they was old, but that really might not have been the case. It could have been something, something else. It could have been, Alzheimer's before we knew what it was. Before we knew what it was.
She said, Hercules, wonderful job.
Hercules. Wonderful job.
That's my baby.
Really, LaShonda? Okay.
Get the D.
Call me out. LaShonda is a nurse, and I encouraged her to come on the show, and she told me no.
Oh
God.
God.
I'm gonna have to get you next time. PPQ.
Yeah, we work together.
Don't be scared.
But again, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. This is a tough conversation to have.
Yeah, it is.
It is
and
a
that's
tough
what we do on Kitchen Talk.
Yeah.
Where the conversations are real.
They cook. That's what we do.
They cook.
That's what we do. Marvin was trying to stir the pot earlier, but that pot ain't stir.
Whip it.
Listen, if you are watching us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you are watching us on Facebook, hit the like button. Make sure you turn on your notifications so you will never miss another show. This has been Kitchen Talk CTC.
Conversations
that cook.
That's what they do. That's what they do. Thank you so much, Miss Lauray, again for hanging out with us on tonight. And for those who may not know or may not see the difference or see the similarities, Miss Lauray is my sister, although she doesn't see me all the time, but that's okay.
She's just a little bit taller.
No shade.
What she said?
Huh? What happened?
What you?
Huh? What today is?
Okay. I got you.
Let's talk.
Wow.
Let's talk.
This ain't the shade room, is it?
And let's also do this. Yesterday was her birthday, so happy birthday!
I'm still celebrating, y'all.
Still celebrating.
Uh-oh.
That's what's up.
So that run in the family, huh? The whole month.
Yes, it does. Yes, it
The
does.
whole month. The
I
whole
did
month.
that. I'm still celebrating.
Still celebrating.
The
Yes.
wrong month.
Happy birthday.
Oh, I knew we was gonna get a song.
Whoop, whoop.
Oh God.
It's
My
LaShawna's
God.
birthday too.
Her birthday in November.
Oh, what's she talking about?
Well, she
Twinning.
said twin.
Yeah.
I don't know why she said that.
Oh.
Jill, I don't know how you forgot the birthday either. You know, it's you just didn't remember. That's how you forgot.
I did not get that from you yesterday. You're absolutely right.
All right, so we're gonna be back.
Early onset. No, I'm just joking.
No,
we're gonna be back here next week. Same time, 9 o'clock. Crazy. Still 3 right there. I can say that tonight was the one that ran us over. Very good, Francis Moise. Very good.
Yo, crazy.
All right, friends, JT, Marvin, thank you guys for hanging out. Appreciate y'all so much. And we are going to we'll be back next week, y'all. Good night.
Good night.
Let's talk, let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk, let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Talk.